Hello again, my friends, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. So, as always, I was looking for my story, and I thought I was going to do something else entirely, and then I stumbled upon this, and then the rabbit hole got deeper and a little weirder, and then it got less weird and just more irritating. But, that's the way it goes. So, what we got here is a tweet from a Bartek Manowski. And he says, this is making the rounds in Polish game dev today. What the actual fuck? And what the actual fuck is, we have a message between two people. One, Jacek Pirowski. Feel free to contact my narrative, Mulan, Magda Kusenti. Maybe we can offer you some work in Spectrum Studio. Alexandra Wolna responds, hi, we've already exchanged a few messages in the comments here on LinkedIn, and from what you said, you considered naked sauna sessions a part of work responsibilities in your studio. I told you that's a deal breaker for me, and we've called it a day. Thank you for your offer, though. And then he responds, sure, I didn't recall your name. Then he says, honestly, you had a lot of time to prove me wrong, to write scene in a sauna without being in sauna, and send it to Magda. Instead, we are wasting time on social media. My narrative girls had to go to sauna with me to come up with amazing script for proof of concept. Technically, it's possible to do it without it, but I absolutely adore the fact that they could use the sauna experience to write some awesome scenes. And I'll be upfront, in this day and age of making accusations to get ahead, my brain immediately goes, well, is this true? Is there some kind of misunderstanding here, maybe? So I do a little research, and of course there's this article on Dexerto. Game dev under fire for mandatory sauna sessions with staff. Spectrum Studio's creative director, Jacek Pirowski, has caused controversy in the build-up to the developer's new game by allegedly requiring employees to have naked sauna sessions. The situation was highlighted by Patrick Suchi, lead recruiter at 8-Bit, who made a post on LinkedIn calling out the requirement. In the post, he says, this dude, a creative director, requires naked sauna sessions as a part of the work in his studio. The post contains screenshots of Pirowski posting on LinkedIn, responding to a developer who he'd spoken to about the job. And those comments have since been edited. Alexandra Wolna, a narrative designer and writer, responds on LinkedIn to Pirowski, potentially offering work, saying we already exchanged a few messages in the comments. From what you said, you considered naked sauna sessions part of the work responsibilities. Pirowski went on to say you had time to prove me wrong. We already read that part. He continued, my narrative girls, yeah. The game that's being worked on is highlighted in an ad posting for an art director on computerswite.pl. As pointed out by a user on X, explains the sauna connection. It reads, Spectrum Studio is working on a groundbreaking game. A mix of Life is Strange narrative, Final Fantasy story characters, Heart of Darkness adventure levels with dog, and The Tourist exploration and questing, and S2 tricks and specials. I don't know what that is. The main character will be a sauna master and will be in charge of performing in various saunas, smells, choreography, everything. The ad also specifies that attending sauna sessions is non-negotiable because the entire team needs to understand the product. Pirowski went on to say, we're doing a game about sauna sessions. I don't want to waste my time to explain what the difference between a ruska banya or dry sauna. You have to feel it. Then he offered to even organize female-only event. Pirowski also said in another post, if you knew anything about it, wetness level inside a banya or steam is over 90%. So towel is extremely wet after a few seconds. You can still do it, but it may result with fungal infection. You should be naked in banya or steam, and with or without towel and dry one. Wolna expressed thanks for the support from other developers who called out Pirowski's offer in what is a truly bizarre situation. And then Dexerto has reached out for comment, but obviously at this point in time, no comment has been given. Here is the post by Patrick Suchi, and he says, I saw a lot of shit in this industry, but this is a new low I did not expect. This dude, a creative director, requires naked sauna sessions as a part of work in his studio. Sessions with him, of course. Now, when Alexandra Wolna pointed out that naked saunas with the boss is kind of a deal breaker, and she did it more politely than it deserved, he mentioned his narrative girls had to go to the sauna with him. And the fact that phrase, my narrative girls, isn't the cringiest in this situation is just wow. They even had this attending sauna sessions as a requirement in their job ad. This shit is so wrong and so disgusting on so many levels, I can't even describe it. And then apparently Magdalena had nothing to do with this. She was just tagged by this guy. And he said, maybe I need to adjust my specs, but where does it say he required him to be naked? So let's look at this image. This is absolutely wild. If you want a realistic sauna session for your game, why can't team members just not go in with bathing suits? Why do they have to go in with you specifically? And why do they have to go in at all? Can I not craft an effective World War I narrative because I haven't been in the trench, covered in fleas and getting shot over patches of dirt? This is incredibly inappropriate and highly unprofessional in my opinion. Here Jacek responds, because bathing suits are from worst kind of fabric. Imagine cooking yourself to get rid of toxins. If you have towel, it will absorb it. If bathing suit, it will cook on you. Happy fungal infection. As I said before, Polish Sauna Association is recommending towel or hammam for a dry one and naked for steam and banya. Then here is the page from Spectrum Studios. Now, here is the ad in question. Spectrum Studios is working on new groundbreaking game. Mix of Life is Strange narrative, Final Fantasy story characters, Heart of Darkness, adventure levels with dog, The Tourist, exploration and questing, and THPS2, tricks and specials. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what that is. Main character will be sauna master and will be in charge of performing in various saunas, smells, music, choreography, everything. We are looking for art director. Requirements. Providing art Bible and ensuring Slavic shamanistic art design. Working on assets, metahumans level art. Providing feedback for animations, VFX, lighting, or tech art. Mentoring of Padawan. You will be hiring one person to do your bidding. Epic knowledge of Unreal Engine 5 art pipeline. Concept art experience is a plus. Attending sauna sessions, not negotiable. Entire team need to understand product. B2B contract based on experience/portfolio, autonomy to create art direction based on Slavic shamanistic vibe, remote work, plannings in sauna free of charge, transparent salary formula based on goals. So it is a real thing. Now, I'm feeling on some level there might be a language barrier here. I don't believe he means they have to be in the sauna with him. I do believe he wants them to experience the saunas so they know the difference and how to describe them or work them into the game. But maybe to some degree he does mean with him. I'm not gonna lie, it's a kind of a weird thing to absolutely require from somebody. And the fact that he then later asks or offers to set it up with females only means at some point it was about him, about being there with him. Were the narrative girls in there with him? I don't really care about the term narrative girls. If they're a bunch of women and they're all working on the narrative, then narrative girls is an accurate description. I don't care about the supposed sexism or whatever that's they're running with on that. But it does sound a little weird, I'm not going to lie. Getting a job and being told, yeah, you absolutely have to go to a sauna, and because of the way it's set up, or because of the humidity in there, it is recommended you go in naked, and your boss is potentially there. It's a little weird. Okay, more than a little weird. It's very weird. But following the line, I did go to Alexandra's LinkedIn. There wasn't really anything horribly interesting there. But another interesting piece of this puzzle that might have something to do with making a big deal out of the sauna thing or not. Maybe, I don't know. It's a possibility because God knows people will use just about anything to bring attention to something else. There was linked first this note, and then we'll be looking at another article. Here this says, the dominoes have arranged themselves so that the theater of the absurd wins, and it shouldn't. I remind you that the sauna affair was indirectly sparked by the much more serious problem outlined in our text about the redundancies and lack of payment at Ironbird Creations. Of course, it's great that the sauna man was spotted and put out straight away, but let's continue to remember the people who have already been victimized on a much larger scale. So it sounds like Alexandra was laid off from Ironbird Studio, was looking at other jobs, talked to this fellow at Spectrum Studio who has the sauna requirement in his job posting. And I don't like not having more of the DMs because I don't know if he really said you had to be in there with him or not. And we are in a place in the world where I am not going to immediately throw somebody out of the door just because I don't necessarily have all the pieces of the puzzle. If he feels that he needs to be in there with them, yeah, that's gross. That's fucking weird. If it's some kind of misunderstanding, I don't know. So was he wanting to be in the sauna with these women? I mean, probably. The game itself sounds crazy. I mean, you're running the sauna, but it has level designs like Final Fantasy, and it's like Life is Strange narratively, and talk about a weird mashup of stuff, you know? Either way, that whole thing is absolutely crazy. But at the same time, the thing that led to that is something that I'm not seeing talked about a lot of places, and that's this. They weren't paid, but fired and lied to. Ironbird Creations employees' drama and the crisis at All In Games. As of December 2023, Ironbird Creations, a subsidiary company of All In Games, has not paid developers for work. The reason is said to be the company's financial crisis. After bosses' assurance that everything is going in the right direction, more than half of the people employed at Ironbird Creations were fired without paying the debt. On May 23, 2024, the management of Krakow-based All In Games, publisher of Chernobyl 8, or the first Ghost Runner, decided to lay off more than half the employees of its subsidiary company, Ironbird Creations, previously working on the promising action-adventure game titled Phantom Hellcat. The part of the narrative and programming team, as well as a large part of the graphic artists, have been fired. According to the informants, 19 people have managed to keep their positions, a number already decreasing in June 2024. The redundancies were not announced on IBC's social media. On the same day, an anonymous employee of Ironbird Creations, directly related to these events, contacted me to outline the key context of the situation. The company hasn't paid its employees for half a year since December 2023, while also having financial arrears of 2 to 5 payments per subordinate. Oh my gosh. It still has some financial obligation to the Social Security institutions, the U.S., debt collectors, and unfulfilled promises to investors. The situation is also being closely monitored by National Labor Inspectorate, the PIP. The situation is said to be the result of the company's temporary financial crisis. However, I've directly contacted other employees and former workers, as well as the CEO of All In Games SA, Marcin Kawa, to ascertain details of company and developer problems. All In Games is a video game publisher in operation since 2018. Currently, there are subsidiaries within the company such as Taming Chaos and Ironbird Creations in charge of production. All In Games has published titles such as Chernobyl 8, Paradise Lost, and the first Ghost Runner. However, its collaboration with the creators of the latter, One More Level, ended in conflict and financial repercussions. This, incidentally, was not AIG's first problem. I'm going to use my phone real quick and see if I can translate what's on my screen. All right, so what this says is over the last few weeks, we have ended cooperation with part of the team of one of our companies, Ironbird Creations SA, including the person managing the studio and the creative director. We decided to take such steps in connection with the reorganization of the company. We believe this is the best decision we could make at this time to allow the studio and project to continue to grow. Such breakups are usually very difficult, especially for the people who leave. We would like to thank everybody for the months and years of cooperation. We owe something to each employee because everyone contributed to building the company and, above all, the game, which is a source of pride for us all. The Phantom Hellcat remains our flagship project. A team of over 20 people at Ironbird Creations SA is working on it, the core of which is a group of 7 specialists with many years of experience in their specializations. At the same time, we would like to inform you that we do not anticipate any further layoffs in the near future, and all financial obligations towards former employees will soon be fulfilled, which we will inform you about individually. I had the opportunity to speak by phone or in writing with several former and current employees of both Ironbird Creations and the other sub-company of All In Games, Taming Chaos. Some of them, for fear of breaking the NDA, decided to redirect me to sources more eager to share the facts, or simply rejected further correspondence, to which they had every right. So far, what I'm really interested in is the fact that this guy who had a few girls in a sauna voluntarily, and one girl who turned him down because she thought it was weird. It's weird. It's getting far more attention than all of these creators not getting paid. I mean, I know sensationalism wins out in the end, but still, these are people who aren't getting money for their work. You'd think that the type of people who get upset about the fact that some girls were in a sauna and called girls would also be upset about the fact people aren't getting paid. Interestingly, Marcin Kawa, despite avoiding contact with the staff, called the CD Action editorial team on the same day that we began to investigate the matter further. The issue was so enormous that the employees had no money to live on. They took loans to pay their rents. The developers reporting the situation felt no support from the head of the studio, Lexa Gornovitz. I was told that she dismissed them when they asked for information, claiming the board was not telling her everything. She assured the ZUS contributions were being paid for people working on employment contracts when in fact they were not, with the debt in ZUS increasing, according to screenshots from the employees' Discord you can see below. She told the devs that they could leave if they wanted to, but no one would be fired after all, and the situation with payments would soon stabilize. One informant tells me, Gornovitz warned us that reporting the company's current situation anywhere could harm colleagues, putting them in a precarious position. So not only are they not paying people, but they're basically blackmailing them to keep them from telling others what's going on. It's a bunch of bullshit. So this is a company that has continued to gaslight its former employees and not pay them, not even paying their social insurance to the government, which, I mean, we all know how I feel about government, but still, I mean, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble not doing that. It's a lot of mess here, guys. I am going to put the rest of this article in the description because it's a long article if you're interested in reading it. Personally, I think this is way more important than the whole weird sauna thing, which I'm on many different minds of. I can understand on one hand where it is entirely inappropriate to ask your employees to go into a sauna with you. On the other hand, no, it's just inappropriate to ask your employees to go into a sauna with you overall. But I can't help but think that maybe the guy doesn't necessarily mean to be sexual about it. It's just one of those situations that there really is no good way to have that kind of conversation. And he doesn't realize that it's just going to sound really bad. Because there are a lot of stupid people in the world. To backtrack a bit, to close out the beginning thoughts of this video, sorry. Because like me, I didn't see where the guy said that they had to be naked. And so this guy shares this bit of context where he explains that wearing a bathing suit's going to be like sweating to death, and using a towel in the wet saunas can cause a fungal infection and a bunch of other stuff. And this Josh Evans fellow says, okay, what he's saying about the bathing suit is correct, so I can see what he means by wearing a towel. Yes, people absolutely could do it on their own. I think this is partly cultural, but he could definitely do with some better PR assistance to help him explain what they were after better. Being naked together in a sauna is very normal in some places, but if you're trying to reach to other cultures, then some understanding goes a long way. Still, I think you need to show all the information on a post like this, regardless of whether it's a good topic or bad topic post to make. Just to say one final time, I'm not trying to defend this person. I just want us to communicate better. And I think the communication is the key here. I know that there are cultures out there who have absolutely zero issues with being naked in a sauna together with strangers. Being Polish, being not Polish, I don't know if that's something that is common in the Polish culture, but I have to wonder. So he could be thinking, oh, it's no big deal. You know, we'll go hang out the sauna, get at the different idea of the different saunas, and we'll have some fun with it. And then the rest of the speech around it, including the line about Padawan and stuff, gets him into more and more hot water. I can see where this is a basic misunderstanding, but that's a whole mess. I mean, it's not as big a deal as the fact that there's a company out there who's fired people and not paid them. That part's the one that's really disgusting, honestly. But what do you think? Do you think going naked in a sauna with your boss is better or worse than not getting paid? Do you think that maybe the issue with the sauna is the fact that he had problems really explaining what he's expecting, and that maybe people are putting the more negative spin on it? Or do you think he's just a creep? I mean, this can go all sorts of different ways without actually talking to the person. We're never really going to know. And unfortunately, a lot of people have already had their mind made up. So he doesn't have a chance no matter what we think, but it's still, good to think about at the same time. Would you play Phantom Hellcat knowing that they fired people, didn't pay any of their stuff on time, and have left them in situations where they can't even pay their next bills, where they had to actually take out loans in order to get through? Do you think the game looks interesting enough to ignore that? Personally, I don't think I could support them. I actually really enjoyed Chernobyl, even though I know a lot of people found it boring. But is that a problem then of All In Studios, or is that a problem that is central to Ironbird Creations? It's a lot of questions, really, rarely enough answers. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.